Republican Congressman Blake Farenthold. Congressman, thank you very much. Back when former President Bill Clinton met with Loretta Lynch on the tarmac, you called for a special counsel to investigate Hillary Clinton. If it was improper for Bill Clinton to do that then, where do you stand now with what is going on with the president and the former FBI director?
Well, we didn't have a single special prosecutor during the Obama administration looking into all sorts of allegations. And I think that's evidence that Congress is able to do its job investigating, as well as the various law enforcement agencies like the FBI.
But you called for it. You don't want to call for it again? You think Congress is going to be fine to do this?
I think we're way early in the process. All we've got now are overhyped anonymous sources and innuendos. I want to hear from Comey. I want to see the memos, and that's going to happen next week.
If it turns out that Donald Trump did ask Comey to end the FBI investigation into Michael Flynn, do you think that is appropriate?
Listen, it depends on how it was done. You know,
is there any circumstance where it's okay for the President of the United States to ask the FBI director to end an investigation into somebody associated with his administration and his campaign?
I think it's perfectly all right for the president to say to somebody, this is a good guy, I like him. It depends on what the intent was, and it depends on the facts and circumstances. That's why we need to see the memo, and we need to talk to Mr. Comey.
If this was Hillary Clinton, would you say it depends on what the intent was, or would you be calling for her to be taken out?
I would absolutely be concerned with the intent. The intent is an element of obstruction of justice. Listen, nobody's above the law, well, except maybe Hillary Clinton.
Nobody's above the law except maybe Hillary Clinton. The President of the United States may have released highly classified information to the Russians.
Yeah, that's not a criminal offense.
That's not a criminal offense. If Hillary Clinton released highly classified information to the Russians, do you think that?
Absolutely. She was not the president. She didn't have the authority to do that. In fact, she did let highly classified information on her private server, which I believe was in violation of the law.
So you think it's okay for the president to say to the Russians, here's some highly classified information?
I don't think that there's
information that wasn't the U.S.'s, it came from an ally?
Every single person who was in that meeting said that the president did not do that. That is an allegation that has yet to be proven.
No, they said that he didn't reveal sources or methods.
Listen, the president has the ability to declassify information as he sees fit. I think it's highly appropriate for the president to be seeking the Russians' aid in fighting ISIS. It's a common enemy that we have with Russia. There are things, Russia is not our enemy on all fronts.
Is Russia our ally? We can work together to make the... Again, we've got interests in common, and fighting ISIS is one of those, and that's the context we're looking at now. Would it be appropriate for the president to record conversations in the Oval Office between him and any administration officials?
Again, I think there are various considerations there. I certainly don't like the way it looks like happened in the Nixon administration. It's got a very negative political connotation, and if the president were doing that, I think that would be a mistake.
What do you want to ask FBI Director James Comey?
I want to ask Mr. Comey if he felt like the president was pressuring him to end the investigation. And if he answers that question yes, I want to ask him, why didn't you report it to your superiors? Why didn't you report it to the Justice Department? And why didn't you report it to Congress?
So last night you told my colleague Greta Van Susteren that you believe the president is climbing the learning curve, but not quite as fast as some folks would want him. Do you believe that the president of the United States should be on a learning curve?
Listen, the American people elected Donald Trump because he was not a career politician. They wanted somebody who would get things done, a man of action. And listen, in Washington, there are all sorts of ways you're supposed to deal with the press, the way you're supposed to say things and not say things. But the American people are fed up with that, and that's why they elected a straight shooter like Donald Trump.
I want to ask you about Russia again, because all of our intelligence organizations have said that Russia tried to interfere in our election. So given that, do you believe that it's appropriate for the president to be sharing highly classified information with the Russians?
We've still got ongoing investigations as to what, if any, interference in the election.
No. The intelligence community has said that they did do that. They've testified saying that they tried to
Regardless,
interfere.
Russia has the ability to help us on the war on terror.
But it's okay that they tried to interfere in the election because they might help us in the war on terror?
I'm not saying it's okay that they interfered with the election. I'm saying the facts aren't all in on that. This is the problem. You folks in the media are just having a feeding frenzy over Donald Trump and the Russians and are not waiting to get all the facts in. All this stuff with Comey is coming from anonymous sources with a memo we have yet to see, with no comment from James Comey. This is all premature. I mean, this is just a feeding frenzy of the media. I have 5 televisions in my office. This is wall-to-wall coverage on there. There are lots of other things going on in the country right now. This is stopping the president from moving ahead with the agenda he ran on and the American people elected him for. And that's fixing health care, that's lowering taxes, that's putting Americans back to work, that's securing our border, it's making America great again. Instead, you've got pretty much every journalist in Washington out to get Donald Trump. If he said, "Oh, I like puppies," the story would be Donald Trump hates kittens.
Well, to be fair, Donald Trump is tweeting quite a bit about all of these topics and only furthering the news cycle on them, including making allegations that are so far baseless, like the President of the United States, the former President of the United States, President Obama, wiretapped him in Trump Tower, even though the intelligence community said that that is not true. Anyway, Congressman Farenthold, thank you very much for joining us.
It was fun.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.